For this sound report, I chose to talk about Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. This is one of my favorite movies, so whenever I saw it as an option, I got excited because it meant it was homework to watch it again. When I first saw Scott Pilgrim, I was amazed by the fun graphics, music, and sound effects that filled the movie. Before the movie even begins, we see the Universal Studios logo, similar to the intro of many movies, but this one was different. The music tune of the intro was in 8-bit style. This little detail added so much because it established the movie and tells the watcher what they can expect from it. Following this fun video game style intro, there's a narration done in a deep superhero tone that introduces the setting. This pulls the viewer in and intensifies the story. Since Scott Pilgrim was originally a comic book, the sound designers probably added this so the viewers feel like they're reading a comic book rather than simply watching a movie. They could have easily left it on screen for the viewer to simply read on their own, but the use of this manly, deep voice adds an intensity that makes you feel like a battle is going to happen. One of my favorite parts about Scott Pilgrim is the thousands of sound effects they added. They often added random sound effects to add emphasis to things like a label popping up on screen to label who the character is and what their relationship to Scott is. The sound designers did this because the label is just a small area on the screen, and if the viewer was looking down at their phone or only listening, they would have missed this crucial detail and would not otherwise be explained in the dialogue between characters. The sound of something popping up will draw the attention of the person watching and make them pay attention to the details. The sound effects were also used to create transitions between scenes. Because this movie jumps around so much, some of the scenes aren't able to transition as smoothly, but the sound designers fixed this problem by taking advantage of the abruptness. They would cut off the end of the last scene with a school bell or a knock at the door. This interruption would keep the viewers on their toes and intensify the scene because they never knew when it would be cut off again. During battle scenes, the sound designers would pull from classic video games to make the viewers feel like they were taking on an enemy in a game. In one of the big final scenes, every time Scott swings his sword to fight off the enemy, you can hear the sounds of coins dropping, much like in a game when you would gain a reward for defeating someone. This hyped up the audience and made them feel like they were winning, but when the tone shifted and Gideon kicked Ramona down the stairs, you could hear the sound of her health bar going down, like when you would be hit by an attack in a video game. These simple sound effects use something widely known like an increase and decrease sound, and use them to manipulate the viewer's emotions, because they are able to trigger feelings that they have already associated with those sounds. Like knowing if you hear one more decrease, your health bar will be empty and you'll have to restart the level. This anticipation puts viewers on edge and makes them want to find out what will happen. Another one of my favorite aspects of this movie is the soundtrack. I'm a big fan of punk rock, so this movie was very enjoyable for me. The sound designers made the music in this movie very over the top and loud, and even purposely covering dialogue at some points. Many of the scenes in this movie were intensified by the band playing in the background. Like in the final battle scene, Gideon says that this battle deserves a song, and tells the band to start playing. The loud rock music accompanied by the intense fighting scene makes it so much more enjoyable and energetic. It also keeps the pace of the fight and fits how quickly Scott is taking down all of his enemies. The sound designers used similar patterns throughout the whole movie to manipulate the emotions of the viewer when Scott was battling with one of Ramona's many exes. It was this crazy soundtrack and fun sound effects that really made this movie as elaborate and amazing as it was, and without them it would be a completely different movie.